in Sweden. So an Italian meal wouldn't be complete without a bit of bread, so I'm going to make some bread. So for my bread recipe, which is my own, I need 4 cups of flour, a tablespoon of active yeast, dried active yeast, about 600 millilitres of water, and 1 tablespoon of salt. I use Himalayan salt, so there's no additives, and it is pure. So I'll just get my flour. So my machine has a dough hook on it. So my machine has a dough hook on you. I think I'm wearing my machine out. I need a new one, I think. So I set that to down, and now I'll go and get my yeast and my water and my salt mix. So I've got my tablespoon of Himalayan salt, but you can use whatever salt you have. And to that I'll add a level tablespoon. If you wanted to cut the mixture down, if you do 1 cup of flour, a 1/4 teaspoon of table salt, or not table salt, of the salt that you use. In my case it would be Himalayan. And the just had a text, that's put me off. So basically 1 cup of flour, 1/4 tablespoon of salt, 1/4 tablespoon of yeast, and about 125 millilitres of water, perhaps 150. It all depends on the flour that you're using. I'm using Italian flour, but you can use whichever you want. But I buy mine direct from the mill, and I buy it in 50-pound sacks. So you have to excuse me now. So midway on your whisking, or on your using your dough hook, on your mixing, give it a little stir with your, I use a chopstick. I find it very useful. So then you remove the dough from the mixer or from the hook. If you wet your hands, you'll find it's easier to get the dough off the hook. So then what we do now is we scrape the dough out of the bowl. Oh, I've had a technical. Who was that of? So I've taken my dough out of the bowl, and what I do now is I just fold and roll. You haven't got to bash it or anything like that, but if you give it a little bit of work before you set it for first rising, it works really well. So if you pull it towards you, spin it as you pick it, drop it, pull it towards you, spin it, drop it, pull it towards you and drop. And then what you're doing then is you're obviously stretching it and you can see it's all it's rolling nice, and you'll know the dough is ready this is quite a wet dough because the flour is what they would make ciabatta out of in Italy, so it's not as fine as the other Italian flours or whatever flours you can get, but it's got more absorbency, so it can take more water than another flour, which, being as when you make ciabatta you use a double hydration method. But I'm not making ciabatta today, I'm just making bread rolls for my sons to have with their dinner. There, so that's ready. So you'll know it's ready because, one, it doesn't stick, and your hands get relatively clean. I could work it a bit longer, but I've got to make a cake and I've got to start the meatballs. So now I have to go and wash my mixing bowl so that I can get my 111 recipe for my sponge up and running. I'll be right back. So let's sort the bread out now. It's proved. So here's my bread dough. It's proven, it's proved, however you say it. So now, can you see all these little air bubbles in there? So now I divide it. So I'll divide it into 6. So you take your dough, it doesn't have to be evenly. Oh, there's a wasp after the honey. A bee. Oh, I'm sure he'll go. Get off my bread! Buzz off! Off! So it doesn't have to be a formal shape. I'm just making my son's like small batons. I use baking paper. I actually go through quite a lot of baking paper or parchment. by there. So you can make buns as well, you know, you just and then you just bring it and roll it, so there's your bun there. But my sons want batons, but to make it so that the spine, you fold it in on itself and then you give it a little roll. So you fold it. Now B is back. You're not gonna go away, B. Oh my gosh. That's a very big baton, isn't it? Oh, I forgot to tell you how hot. So the cake's at gas mark 6, about 175, or you know your oven, if it's fierce or not. So these are rough battens. So again, you fold it in on itself and then roll. You place it on the baking parchment, newsproof paper, whatever you use, and then these then will be covered with muslin and left to rise. So I'll just go and set them to rise because I need to use this again. So the dough has been on here for some time, doing a second rise. I think you could do with a bit longer, but let's have a look. So I'm going to turn the oven up higher. So I've put it on a number 8, so that would be, oh my gosh, look at that. And my wellies are out there, so I have to get my wellies in. So I'll put it on a gas 8, which is a 240 or a 230. So I'll be back in a minute because now I have to get the meatballs ready. So see you in a minute at the stove. So the bread is ready to go in now, so I'll just get that sorted. Yes, and I got to plug you in as well. So there's the bread, and I've got to make some cheese. Not make some cheese, grind some cheese. So I'll just pop the bread in the oven and then I'll be back. Here's what is left of the bread. So I'll probably have to bake more tomorrow. So they like that, and so pop that by there.